let's talk about cell division and reproduction. Whereas cell division and reproduction happens in both eukaryotes and prokaryotes, it's actually we're going to look at the main way that prokaryotes use cell division in order to reproduce in this particular talk. Don't worry, we're going to talk a lot about eukaryotes in the upcoming talk. So 2 things to know. Number 1, you can either reproduce asexually or sexually. Asexual means without having sex, meaning it's just making a clone of yourself. Okay, so that's great unless you have some diseases or you aren't so well adapted to your environment. Sexual reproduction actually gives us an evolutionary edge, particularly for us organisms who are long-lived and we don't have higher rates of evolution such as prokaryotes do. So other differences are asexual reproduction, identical, right, to the original cell or parent organism, and it involves inheriting all of the genes from one parent. Sexual reproduction is producing organisms that are sort of similar to the parents, but show variations because the parents are different, right? We're supercharging evolution. We're kind of stepping it up, okay? So you would have unique sets of genes because you have them coming from 2 different parents. Larger organisms typically rely on this particular type of reproduction. Cell division is used for more than just making babies, though. So it is, of course, used for making reproduction, right? However, it's also used for growing and repairing, right, cells, replacing cells, and general maintenance of organisms. Also, it results in the production of sperm and eggs, which we use in a later process called meiosis. It's good stuff. Prokaryotes, just to kind of get back to it, are single-celled bacteria and archaea. Very simple, tiny circular genomes, right? Lots and lots of these suckers. These are the original organism on the planet. So let's talk about how they reproduce. It's called binary fission. It means they're dividing, right, or splitting in half, into 2, binary. So they have a single chromosome. Remember, it's circular chromosome. We also can call it a plasmid. And it's much, much smaller than that of eukaryotes, which means that we can replicate this very fast. So what helps when you don't have a whole lot of complex structures, such as a large animal, for example, it means you don't need all those genes to maintain it. That means you get to reproduce relatively quickly. So it's just an evolutionary strategy. Here's what happens in this particular type of cell division. So here you have a prokaryote. And I know this mangled thing looks a little strange, but what that is a single circular chromosome. It's just condensed on itself. Okay? So we make a copy, and we also start doing something else. We start adding in more cytoplasm and extending the cell wall and getting bigger, getting ready to go. After the 2 chromosomes have been completely separated onto each half of the cell and replicated successfully, we start to kind of divide it right down the middle, right? And afterwards, when we finally have divided these 2 cells, we have new daughter cells, identical to the parent, but 2 more. So most prokaryotes are using this particular type of reproduction. Here's just a cool photo, I thought. So here you go, right? You can kind of see cell wall starting to come down and replace, right? Elongated cell right here. These are the chromosomes. They've already been pulled into either side of the cell. Okay, so they're about ready to pinch down. Okay, so that's like a basic primer on cell division, at least in prokaryotes for the most part. I hope you found that helpful.